Everybody, and welcome to episode 23 of the Any Key. I'm your host, Drekkonis, and I'm joined here with my co-host, Tamir.
Hey.
And the TheSgtBear. I called you Beard. Exactly the same thing. AKA Josh. Oh, I can't really say. I never get your gamer tag right, Tamir. So I always just call you Tamir. Strygwyr. I want to call you Strygwyr D, but you don't like the D at the end of it.
It's a silent D.
That's what he said. So yeah, guys, welcome to the show where we talk about esports culture, and we discuss all the happenings that's going on, and we talk about the things that we hope you care about because we care about it. So, guys, before we jump into it, how are you guys doing? What's the 411? How's everyone on this esports day?
Just another day in the esports life, plugging away at numbers, doing some research, keeping people happy, hopefully.
What about yourself, Bear? Doing that Passion Stone?
Playing a lot of Passion Stone. Oh my god. Yeah, and I'm in the middle of school, midterm season, so just in the grind right now.
Oh my gosh, just doing that engineer grind.
Yeah.
Making it work, making it happen.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, so we'll start off the show. As always, guys, we always start off with a critical update. This is what we talk about what's going on in the ESChamp world. And today, I guess one of the main things that are happening is we have a launch party happening. Bear, actually, do you want to tell people a little bit about that since you're kind of spearheading it?
Yeah, sure I will. So we're actually organizing a launch party for Legacy of the Void, the new StarCraft expansion that's coming out. It's going to be the weekend after BlizzCon, the week that Legacy of the Void's coming out. It's going to be hosted at Meltdown Toronto. We have an Indiegogo page right now. Actually, if someone could post that in the chat, that'd be awesome. And we just have a bunch of tiers. We have Massa, Hendralisk, Believe, and BioIce. Going to be playing some show matches. Opportunity for you to actually play some Archon mode with them. And just hang out with a bunch of other StarCraft fans. It's going to be, like a bar atmosphere, so it'll be a good time.
And we're also getting it before it even opens, right?
The Meltdown?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that, but yeah. Before Meltdown opens, so...
Throw it in. Why not? On us. Go for it.
Yeah, so we have a private event. Meltdown isn't fully open to the public, but they have graciously offered to allow us to use their venue before anybody else for this particular event. So that'll be pretty exciting. So for those of you who just even want to sneak peek at Meltdown before it even happens, becomes a thing, this is your opportunity. So let's make that happen. I'm super excited for it. Briefly, can you tell us some of our stretch goals?
So some of our stretch goals are, we actually have plans to make a big Artanis cake. It's just like a big figurine of him on top. And then we're also, depending on how much money we raise, we pretty much want to put it directly back into the prize pool. So invite more players, increase the prize pool, and just keep doing that as much as we possibly can.
Excellent. So that's exciting. Someone will hopefully post a link into the chat, but if you're also listening to this via podcast, it'll be in the show notes, or if you're on YouTube, it'll be in the description below. So you will have no problem finding out about the launch party. Let's dive right into it, shall we? All right. So first thing that comes up in the esports discussion panel wasn't too good for StarCraft. I feel like we had a discussion maybe 2 episodes ago about StarCraft and whether or not it was in trouble. But StarCraft 2 pro gamers, coaches, and 9 others indicated for illegal betting and match fixing. I don't know how much more painful this gets after a brief run for StarCraft of a whole bunch of players retiring and quitting and all, with Legacy of the Void coming right up, you'd think that this might be a chance for it to be on the upturn. But here we are with even worse situation of players being banned for match fixing.
thoughts on, do you think this is a bigger epidemic? Because this is not just endemic to StarCraft. Like, obviously, CSGO has recently had it with players, you know, with back having a full out band. I wanted to phrase this in just 2 points, right? A, is this a larger problem we have? And B, is the punishment too harsh? Because even right now, we're seeing full out bans, and not even just bans, like not even just bans from the actual like game and the leagues, but Kespa is reaching out to get some of the streaming platforms to not allow these players to stream on to collect revenues. Like they just want them gone. Like
They're going
finished.
full Kespa jail.
Full Kespa jail. So I want first of all, thoughts on that. Like the first part, and then the thoughts on the second point. Why don't you lead us, Josh, since you're more intimate to the StarCraft scene?
Yeah, so from my understanding, it looks like some of the coaches and some of the more administrative people on the team are actually having trouble managing money. So their way of making that money was initiating these match fixing games. And I mean, I've said it before, and I'll probably continue to say it. Like, we're gonna have this issue, and it's never gonna go away until the prizes exceed what you can earn from gambling. So from the Team Liquid thread that I just read, they bet just under 40K Canadian and made just under 48K Canadian. So
they only made 8K. They lost their livelihood on 8K. Is that
on like $8,000. So at the end of the day, like, how much was it really worth it?
Well, that's nothing. I mean, we'll get into the 322 scandal when it comes around to me, but I'll let you finish.
And I know Josh. No, I like how I know you love our topics on gambling, and this just really brings it home for everyone to love more gambling, because this is the fallback. But Tamir, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, esports as a whole, this is a larger issue. This isn't the first time that matches have been fixed or games thrown or what have you. I mean, not even fixing. I remember like in Dota not so long ago, I believe it was Rockskiss they were at the time, group of not even a group, sorry, just the captain bet like $322 on a match or something like that, and then they were gonna win, but he bet against his team, so he threw the match for like $322 or something ridiculous. Like it was anyway. The number 322 is prominent just because it's still to this day, like years later, a huge meme in the Dota scene of somebody who basically got banned from all Valve tournaments for such a small amount of money. But I mean, desperate measures and whatnot. I kind of agree with Bear that as long as there's money to be made off gambling, betting, and it's there, we'll experience this. Let's not ever assume that this is something that's esports exclusive, or like a problem that's like, oh my god, these esports people match fixing, like they have no integrity. Like this happens in all gambling industries.
I feel like sports though. You don't hear it. Maybe not connected to sports enough, but I feel like this is not as prominent in traditional sports as you would hear. Maybe because we're a young industry. It might be because it's just a young industry, and sports has many time to deal with this kind of stuff. But
sports has a lot bigger implications. Like those players depend on the sport, but are contracted for a shit ton of money, and like the second being, like you're scrutinized in the public, and a lot larger of an audience is going to think less of you than like Yoda and Byung. So like,
okay, well, referencing traditional sports like football, baseball, basketball, golf, whatever, is kind of moot here, just because the premise of what we were saying is that this will continue to happen until the prize pools, like the potential of earning, is far greater than that of gambling, which is the case with traditional sports. Like there's no reason for a professional football player to even attempt to throw a game, not to mention a professional football organization, like a full team, to consider throwing a game for an amount of money that they're going to make off gambling, because their annual salary, not just from the organizations, but from sponsorships, endorsements, contract deals, is far, far greater than what they would ever make from some gambling scandal. There's no reason for them to do it.
Boxing and golf, I would say, are probably the two where that might be likely.
Boxing, I feel like boxing. I've heard it more is the only place I've ever heard it.
Well,
Personally.
yeah, that's sure, but I mean if we were to rank the traditional sports, boxing is definitely further down there, at least today, than like the more prominent ones. And I'm sure it's happened in boxing before, but even then, like only recently, like thinking like Mayweather's last 2 fights, he's raked in like 400 million or something absurd like that.
Mayweather's probably like an example, like a outlier.
Just for showing up, right? But that, I mean, again, he gets that just for showing up, not for winning or losing or anything. That's just he gets paid per second that he's fighting. So anyway, the point to be made is they make enormous amounts of money. They're not, it's not like if they don't win or they lose or something like that, then they're not eating tonight. We're talking about people that are like, I gotta keep the lights on, like $322 for a Russian team. That seems appealing to them because they're like, I don't know how I'm paying for groceries tomorrow. Like, it's that's when that's still the case, then it's not like they wake up in the morning and they're like, you know what, I think that I'm gonna match fix today. It's something different. It's something to do. Like that's not the case. They only do this. Anybody would only do this.
So we're saying it's because of money. We're saying it's because it's how our structure and our industry has sort of led to this kind of scenario where people are, to survive, they have to find other means.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's turn it on the head now. With that being in mind, is the punishment for match fixing too harsh? Because let's use 2 examples in CSGO. A lot of the players are life banned. Not even just banned, and it's arbitrary for Valve. Valve is like,
That's Valve, not CSGO. Sorry, just to reiterate on that point. That's all Valve titles. Dota is the same. You get lifetime banned.
Oh, even better. Okay, so so all Valve titles is like when you're banned for that kind of stuff, it's life. Like and there's no 6 months, 2 years, 5 years. It's just
there's no
life.
Court of Appeals. There's
nothing.
No.
No good behavior. You can't come back. That's it. Like
you're banned.
And there has been some discussion from some of the more affluent media types in eSports that says that may be too harsh. That maybe there should be an appeal after a certain amount of times, or if a player proves themselves to be worthy of returning to the scene, because essentially you are taking away their livelihood. Is it too harsh? Are we too harsh on these players?
No.
Honestly, I don't think so. Like the thing is, when you create a method of appealing or re-entering or removing lifetime bans, that's not a lifetime ban. That's a ban until appeal is overturned. Like it's not the reason that it's a lifetime ban is because you're in for a lifetime. It's kind of like when you if you murder somebody and you get 7 counts of lifetime in prison, you might be able to appeal 3 of them, but you're never going to get all 7 removed. And that's kind of the point here is it's a lifetime ban. Like you're banned for life.
But is the lifetime ban too harsh though? Is that for the
that's the point that I'm trying to make. Like if you had appeals, not only would it not be a lifetime ban, is then no option of removal, no option of participation ever again too harsh? I don't think it's too harsh. Just because on a smaller scale, let's say we have 1 incident of match fixing in Dota. Technically, I'd say there's 2, but let's say there's 1. One person gets banned for life, and then nobody attempts it again.
So he's the sacrificial lamb, essentially. Because I think, and I want to phrase this because you bring up the point of the 3-2-2. Yeah. So this person obviously, 3-2-2. Should that be weighed on the same scale as someone who said, I'm maliciously going to go out and make 7K, 100K? Should it be scaled appropriately? Should the punishment fit the crime, right? Or is match fixing, or do we all believe that sort of match fixing is the ultimate sin, the equivalency of murder in esports?
I'm not going to call it the ultimate sin or murder, but I will say match fixing is match fixing. Whether it's for $2 or for $200,000, you've committed the same crime.
Okay.
It's
the penalty needs to be there because the reason it's happening is because the finances aren't there, where it's not it's more profitable for you to throw your match than it is for you to play your game fairly. And in this circumstance, it's the manager who's in debt and tells his players or tells another player, hey, throw this game, I need you to throw this game. But like the only way to actually stop that going forward is to institute a ban that makes up for that financial difference where it ruins someone's career. So it's not profitable for you to throw your match, no matter how much money you're going to get for it. It's going to ruin your livelihood.
But so what we're saying is, and I have to, you know, I do agree to some extent that basically having your career and livelihood removed is the equivalency of making your punishment like stick, like make this punishment worth it or not worth it to.
Well, I think
to
really
throw,
what Bear's trying to say there is like, if let's say if the punishment is for 2 to 6 years, then all you're really saying is that you better match fix enough so that it's worth 6 years of your career.
Yeah.
Like, because you could say like, you know what, I'm gonna gamble like, right, and I'm gonna make $400,000 off this match fixing. Then yeah, that's worth the next 6 years of my tournament livelihood. I'd rather make $400,000 right now, not have to worry about playing, winning, losing for the next 6 years, and I'm donezo, right?
And here's the thing, and I'm going to bring this up because that's exactly the thing I was trying to say is that shouldn't it match the crime? So if I match fix for $322, maybe I should be banned for a year or 3 years or 4 years, and then obviously maybe have it that maybe put on a wall of shame. You know, I'm not necessarily always about public shaming, but that's one method, right? If someone then obviously does for 7K, that might warrant a lifetime ban without an appeal from your peers, or I don't know, right? I don't know.
Go ahead. I mean,
I was gonna say like this is just invokes more bureaucracy and more.
Okay,
more,
that's
like and just more BS. Like you just don't do it. That's it. Like
I'm a big fan of the zero tolerance policy in this regard as well. Like for a lot of things, like if you're never gonna catch someone and be like, oh sorry, I didn't mean to match fix. It's not like it's not like this was an accident, right? It's not like they did something horribly wrong and they didn't know that it was wrong and they didn't mean for it to happen. They knew what they were doing. Like they knew that they were committing this crime. The thing is, if you start punishing people degrees based on how malicious they are, and not just whether or not they are malicious or not, like you're inviting people to try and game the system, right? Like that's ultimately what it comes down to. Is you don't want people gaming the system at all. You want people playing the game and just putting on the best performance, because ultimately the game is nothing without the spectators. You start tarnishing that experience, you start making every game questionable about whether or not it's worth it for somebody to throw this game or not. That's not what esports is about, right? Like that's a whole kettle of fish that I don't think any publisher or anybody, any gaming organization, tournament, whatever, wants to go down. Questioning every time a game is played whether or not it's worth it for a team to throw this game or not, because the consequence or the punishment might not be as severe in this case or in that case. Like it's just silly. It's not like how to say, it's not like they don't mean to do this, in which case it's like, yeah, well, he didn't really mean to, we could go a little bit easier on him, like the damages really aren't that bad, it was kind of like a little bit of his fault, a little bit of that person's fault, we could see some gray area here. There's none of that. This is like somebody woke up and they were like, yeah, I think it's better to just throw this match. Like I'm gonna make more money. Sure, like the viewers are gonna be disappointed, the tournament organizers are gonna be disappointed. Like the event itself is gonna be spoiled by this because we might have to be replaced if we got caught. But to them, it's they're just playing the gamble of whether or not they get caught or not. And like, do you really want to get into trying to like apprehend people for match fixing because you haven't set a precedent, because you haven't said like, look, you do this, you're out. Instead, you're saying, yeah, you could do this. Maybe you get away with it. Maybe you don't. Is it worth it to you?
Okay. Well, in that case, when you put it that way, I have like no choice but to move on to the next topic, because I think that's pretty. You
all I'm trying to say is you just have to make it so that it's never worth it to people to match fix.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's what it comes down to. It's like, when is it worth it? Never. And how do you make that the case? Like, how do you make that the case? Well, you're never gonna make a career out of this if you do, right?
That's you know what? I completely agree in many regards. Bring back the death penalty. So moving on to the next topic. This is an interesting topic because I have very strong feelings about this particular scenario, but acquisitions abound. Is Yahoo, is esports right for Yahoo? So this gets brought about because rumors, I don't even know if it's a rumor, like I feel like it's a rumor, but it might not be, that Yahoo is sniffing around or in talks with purchasing MLG. So those of you who don't know Yahoo, they pretty much like power internet emails, and I don't know.
No.
Do they still host websites?
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know if
Yeah.
they still.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. They're a web service conglomerate. Like they are.
They have a lot of things.
They're a very small Google, to say the least. Like
that's a good way of putting it. If I was to say that the most popular thing, and this is obviously from my own peer review, of thing that you would a product that you may use of Yahoo's, it would be Tumblr. So that would probably be the most likeliest thing. So if you use Tumblr, it's owned by Yahoo, or Flickr. If you use Flickr, it too is used by Yahoo. Mm-hmm. So the reason I bring this up, or the reason this is interesting, is because Yahoo being a sort of very much like, it's a digital company, but are we personally ready for Yahoo, which by any rights is a pretty large, like, you're right, it's a smaller Google, but it's still a large entity in many regards.
Oh, yeah. Small
coming
Google
in,
is still massive.
Yeah, small, like small sun is still a sun.
Yeah.
So moving into our solar system and gobbling up a piece of MLG. What do we feel about this in terms of our landscape? Tamir, I like you to start it off.
Honestly, I'm gonna say the same thing about this that I did about Cineplex, and I'm really not opposed when big players like this take an interest in esports. It's exciting. It's something that can be really good for not just for like the players and the spectators, but like the scene as a whole really stands to benefit. Not just from the money that's being injected into it, but from the innovation and the power and the expertise that these conglomerates, these giant enterprises bring with them. And the kind of connections and synergies that they can develop with their various products is there's limitless potential. Things that wouldn't be available to us otherwise is the point I'm trying to make. But it really, really, really comes down to what they do with it, because at the end of the day, we've seen too many movements from large money come into the scene, buy up a bunch of stuff, and then just be left clueless. They're like, you know what? We're here. But we're not really sure what to do now, and they kind of try, and it ends up not working, and they get discouraged. And I you know what?
The company as a whole gets discouraged.
They're just like, was this the right move? Did we make a mistake? And like, they didn't make a mistake entering the scene, and I firmly believe that they know that, which is why we continue to see massive corporations make strides towards this, like with esports with Google trying to purchase up Twitch and stuff like that's we see these movements all the time. So it's not like companies are dissuaded. It's not like these mistakes are deterring big money from entering the scene. I don't think that that's really going to happen. But it is unfortunate because we see it really shows the growing pains. It shows how undeveloped our industry is and how further we have to go, how much we still have to learn, and just how little everybody else knows about esports. So end of the day, I think it's a great thing. I hope that they do make a purchase, whether it's MLG or somebody else, and give it their best shot. Hopefully we get something really good out of it, like we got YouTube streaming platform out of Google, attempting to purchase Twitch and that not happening, and they just forged away with a new product, and that kind of spurs on competition and development. So I'm excited for that kind of thing to happen, and I just really hope that Yahoo don't buy up something, expect the world, and then live on in disappointment after spending 200 million on buying some massive existing platform like MLG or something like that, and then just feeling like they wasted their time and money. And because end of the day, what happens is, if that's the case, we're the ones that lose, that stand to lose.
Oh, that was gonna be my next question. But
if that is what happens, if they're just disappointed, then that's a whole bunch of money that just got injected into our scene that we're not benefiting from, which is ultimately the worst thing. Like, we don't want to see 200 million enter the esports circulation and have nothing to show for it, because that's it. how to say it's not. I don't want to say it's just content, but it's stuff that we would like to enjoy. Like 200 million could go a long way for the esports scene. You imagine like an international for CS:GO or an international for World of Tanks or whatever you like. It doesn't really matter, right? But the point still stands is that if they don't do a good job of it, it's just everybody that would have enjoyed that is just kind of left bitter. I know I would be, like, if they bought up MLG and then it's like all the MLG World Champions just happened, World Championships just happened. I enjoyed watching that. If that got ruined or spoiled, that would be a shame. It would be a net loss for us as an industry. And I mean, those setbacks are necessary. Maybe call it growing pains, but ultimately, like I said, I just hope that they do a good job of it, a good job with it. They buy something and they're successful with it.
Bear, can you follow that up? What's your thoughts?
I think Demir just said everything I wanted to say.
all right. I'm just gonna mute.
Topic.
I'm just gonna mute. That's it.
Find your path.
I like the main thing is, yes, I'm glad to see a company like this. Like they are a tech giant. Whether you guys want to call them baby Google or whatever you want to call them, they are a tech giant. They are a force in the tech industry, and that raises a lot of eyebrows. That brings a lot of attention to what it is that we're doing. Just the whole industry. So it's good, and it's a lot better than like the Cineplex thing. This is like Yahoo. This is like this is a big freaking company.
Now, do you suspect that this might be a Me Too? So it's like Amazon now has Twitch, Google has YouTube and YouTube Gaming, and this is like Yahoo's like, wait, we have something as well. Now we have MLG.TV. Because maybe they're actually just. So if you think about it, YouTube Gaming is owned by Google.
Still exists?
Rip. It's only like a month old, right? It's not like we mentioned a Zubu or anything like that.
Yeah,
but think about it.
You gotta give him time to purchase up those Zubu contracts.
Wait for those Zubu ships to start leaking. Start picking them up. But if you think of, like, in all honesty, to be honest, I think if they are buying it, I don't think they're buying it for the rest of the MLG platform. I really think it is for the MLG.TV.
The stream.
Yes.
I hope not.
I don't know. They might also just do it for like that and like their knowledge, because they have a big fantasy, like one of their biggest things is fantasy sports, like fantasy esports, more gambling, more stuff like that.
You have to remember is that like Yahoo is a media company, right? So to them it's a content play. In my opinion, I think I see it as a content play.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, if this happens, I want to see Yahoo esports. Like I want to see like esports.
I don't think so. Like, I don't think they're gonna do that though. I feel like they'll just keep the MLG platform as it is, and they'll just like.
Come on.
Yeah, they will. You know what? I agree with you, because I didn't know about Flickr. I knew about Tumblr, but I didn't know about Flickr. And
they'll keep it as it is.
Yeah, who has a hands-off approach when it comes.
Very hands-off approach. What they'll do is they'll keep MLG TV as it is, and then they'll just put their ad team behind it, and they'll just
losing already.
But like I don't think they're gonna change it. I don't think they'll take they like you said, Bear. They have a hands-off approach. Tumblr was left very much alone. They left it as it is, and they don't come in, and I don't think I've ever seen something they've purchased and tried to revamp it. Not to say that like MLG probably does. Everything they've touched is try to revamp is kind of dead, other than Flickr and Tumblr.
Yeah, well, like. Again, I'm just interested to see what they want from MLG. Like, what does MLG owe them? Like, why do they want it? And I'm more interested in what will come of this. What's gonna be produced, or is this just gonna be something that happens and then it's never gonna fade away? But like what you said before, where you said like the Me Too thing, where it's gonna get other companies like the Microsoft or. I don't know anyone.
Microsoft might attend next. Like they might be like, well, if all my competitors own something esports, I too should own an esports thing. It might. I don't know. Like, yeah, Microsoft is also into the content business with their Xbox Live. They try to get a lot of exclusive partners, but they also do partnerships. So I don't know if that will be something that they'll be into. But Yahoo,
again, that's just an example. But like, yeah, any company that has the tech industry specifically are what interests me. Because it's closely enough related where they can offer something to them, whether that's servers, advertising, because online, like digital advertising is a lot different than conventional advertising. So I'm just interested to see like what happens. And yes, I think that it's good because of all the other companies that are going to now look at this and go, oh, I don't want to miss anything, and then jump on stuff. So
Yeah, I
Did
don't
you have
know.
a thought?
Yeah, I was just thinking like it makes sense that they're purchasing MLG in a sense because Twitch is bought up. You know that Amazon's not gonna sell Twitch now. Um, YouTube gaming, already done. Like and you kind of think like what's left, and like I guess the next most popular streaming platform is MLG, just in terms of numbers. Yahoo being a digital media company, they could use the ad space. Like they've got the great marketing team, like you said, Drek, and they can incorporate, that they can leverage their expertise and stuff. I would like to see it. That's what I was saying. I'd like to see them do more with it than just that, but at the same time, it's if they did, I don't think it's the end of the world. I could see it happening. I could see them just buying it up, leaving MLG to its devices, being like, okay, here you go. You've got the cash flow now. You've got whatever you need. Just keep doing what you're doing. We'll sell the ad space. We'll manage all that kind of stuff. You can leverage our network and everything. End of the day,
I honestly think that's like what we're looking at here. I really feel like that's what we're looking
and that's
at.
what I'm saying. End of the day, that's not bad. I would be disappointed if that's the case, because like I want to see, Yahoo come in, have some fresh ideas, have some innovation. They don't need to make like esports.yahoo. That was just like a off the top of my head kind of thing that popped into my mind. But like I would like to see them come in and really like invest and get immersed and put on some stuff. Like take MLG to the next level. Like that's what I'd like to see from them, right? Like really develop that and push it and see what the boundaries are, because they have the flexibility in the room and the capability to do something like that, being as big as they are. When Amazon purchased Twitch, it was very much like, oh yeah, we bought Twitch, and you can't play music on here now, but other than that, pretty much just do what you want, right? So you're right to say that a lot of companies just end up doing that. That could very well be what we're looking at here. I'm inclined to agree with you, but I hope that's not the case.
All right. Any more final thoughts, Bear, before we switch? Because I thought you might have wanted to say something.
No. So, like, do you guys think that they're more interested in the streaming side from MLG? That's what the asset
Well,
is.
that's kind of like
They're-
that has to be. I believe that has to be their asset that they're gaming
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, they're a media company. Like it's the ad space and the market, right? It's about being able to, okay, well, you've got a product that you want to market to males and 16 to 25 years old. We got the perfect place to put that. Like,
Yeah.
That's all. I think that has to be Yahoo's angle. I imagine, at least. Can't say
Okay.
anything else.
Yeah. So let's actually might transition into the last part of our segment, which we'll be discussing. We'll discover if this is debatable or not. Does esports need old media? Like, do we need these companies to make us get to where we need to be?
Who's these companies?
Well, I'm specifically thinking about Turner Sports, and this came up because they just posted their job ad for their esports manager. So that means this is really real, right? This is getting they're getting serious. So we're seeing this obviously with other companies, like the BBC just posted about having the League of Legends Worlds on their platform. Now this is the same. It's a very baby steps. It's not like it's full on television BBC Worlds.
Yeah.
It's more like this is on our site. We're gonna test it, and if people start crawling in, well, let's throw some fire on this. This Kindle wood, right?
That's it. This is the ESPN thing, right? There's like, we'll put you on ESPN 3. See how that goes. Goes well, might bump you up to ESPN 2, right? So I mean, the question was, do we need this?
Do we need this? Do we need this, or can we do it on our own? And by our own, I mean, can our companies stay independent, build up our esports dynasties, build up our companies without the need of these larger these larger conglomerates, larger companies handling the back end? Is that
Okay, well, I'm just gonna change one word in the question then. Not a need, but a should. Like, do we want?
Do we want?
Do we want? I'm gonna say, do we want? I'm gonna say, yeah, we do want. I want. I don't know. Bear, do you disagree?
I do disagree, but like,
Oh boy.
I want to hear
Here
you
we
out.
go.
Here we go. Go ahead. Yeah. Why?
No,
do you?
No,
Okay.
I want to hear your side because maybe I agree with you. I like
Well,
maybe
do
I'm misinterpreting the question
do we
because
want
okay,
PPC? Like, yeah, I want these companies involved in esports. I want them to get, because I honestly, I think I read it somewhere, but I mean, we're in my opinion, we're watching, experiencing, participating in the birth of like a new global sports. The next generation, like when I'm 45 or whatever, and like, you know, this is the kind of stuff that I fully believe I'm still going to be involved in, still watching, and I would like it to be more mainstream available. I would like it to not be like I would like to not walk into a room full of people at a holiday gathering or a bar or whatever and have to explain what the hell I'm talking about and then be like, I've never heard of this. You know,
My
like that.
question is wouldn't we just naturally evolve into on our
that's
own? Because these companies, like ESPN, all these stuff, weren't bought up by other companies prior. They built up to ESPN level, and my question is, or at least the question that's being phrased is, do we is which route are we do we should we take? Is it the route of we should be building our companies to be acquired by the ESPNs, the Yahoos, and Googles, or should we build our companies to be the dynasties, or to be the next ESPNs and the Googles and the NHLs and NFLs?
I think
That's a very different question.
Oh, is it? Well, I'm sorry.
I like
Well, that's fine. It's just not.
like
Now I was thinking like, do we want to take corporate money or not? Like
Well, no.
that's
Well, taking corporate money is
you know.
corporate ownership. You get
Yeah.
owned. Like you're owned by these
Yeah,
guys, right?
you get wrecked.
Well, there is a possibility. Like we said, most of the companies we've seen have a hands-off approach. Most of the, MTG, who owns ESL and now ESEA, be like, do your thing, and we'll just give you our network and we'll let you go.
Yeah,
But
just give us the content.
just give us the content, right? But is that always going to be the case?
No.
What if Yahoo comes in, buys MLG, and they're like, all right, we're just going to move this to the left, we'll move this to the right, and it could be good, and it could be bad because maybe they don't know anything about esports, right? And these are the kind of things that beg this question to go deeper. So I throw it back to you, Bear.
no, okay, so yeah, now that I understand where you're getting at, Tamir. Okay, yes, I agree with you. Like when I have little bear cubs running around, they're gonna be watching StarCraft with me and like
That's it.
yelling
You
when
want
someone top decks lethal, like the whole house is gonna be screaming, right?
Yeah.
But like the what like I agree that it will become mainstream or it's more socially acceptable, but I don't think conceding to these like archaic systems is what we need to do. I don't think we need to say, "Oh, ESPN, I want to stream, and then you want us to break it up into commercials every half hour so you can tell me about the new Gillette razor." Like it's with that we're losing what like part of the reason why we love it. Like they're going to make it invasive. Like they're going to use their mediums and their tactics to something that's new and different, and that's what's going to prevent it to evolve and grow at the rate it has been. I mean, corporate money is corporate money. I'm happy to see money flowing in any which way, any recognition, any like bad publicity is still publicity. But what's best for us, I think, is to just let it take over. Like what's going to become mainstream is going to be maybe you don't go to ESPN.ca or TSN.ca for your content anymore. You go to Team Liquid. It just the medium that you use will change. We don't need to abide by these old standards and give them power.
Well,
fight the man.
Drekken brought up an interesting point, and that's, at one point ESPN wasn't like this massive high baller, like, they built up from the ground, right? It's not like they were, it's not like they started out worth 50 billion or whatever. Like, and I agree that in time, esports would get there on its own, but they're basically saying like, it took us 50 years to get to where we are. You've been around for 5. Let us give you a boost. Like, let us push you there. And so far, I haven't been, too disappointed with the boosts that we've seen. Like I said, Amazon buying Twitch. It's not like they came in and like ripped it up and you don't even recognize Twitch anymore. It's still pretty much the same. You just gotta abide by copyright laws.
Sorry, can I just like interject on that? Like, I'm cool with Amazon buying. I'm cool with Amazon buying Twitch. I'm cool with Yahoo buying MLG. Like these are cool because they don't have a direct interest in it. Like there's trade-off that can be offered both ways. That's not going to ruin it. Like
Are you cool with Are you cool with MTG buying ESL and ESEA?
That's fine. My issue is like an ESPN buying. If ESPN bought MLG, because then that's when they're gonna say, all right, now you're gonna have to do your things the way we do traditional sports. You're gonna have to do it this way. This is the way we want your content done. Whereas Amazon might have more of a hands-off approach and is gonna say, all right, I mean, you were worth $1 billion before we got here. Just keep doing what you're doing. Like you said, move this to the left a little bit. That looks crooked. Hold on, let's fix this a bit. All right, good. Yeah, keep going. Like that's fine because they don't, because they're looking for Twitch's expertise on something like that, not not telling them what to do. That's what I think these like sports specific companies and these news companies are going to change and what they're going to make esports become.
So you kind of have a hate for like the regular sports companies buying in it, like The Score, ESPN, maybe Turner Sports.
Yeah, yes, because they're okay. Sorry, tinfoil hat, but like they're controlled by big corporations. Like
tinfoil hat alert.
Yes, like they're a bit malicious in their intent. So
okay, so there you have it.
Because malicious intent. That's
our conspiracy theories. Our conspiracy theories. Here you go. / our conspiracy theories right here on the eSport NET.
Ultimately, the only thing that I'll say to that is if somebody like ESPN comes in, buys up MLG, and turns it into traditional sports, which Bear would hate, I believe that Bear represents a majority of the population or consumption base of esports. People wouldn't like it. They don't like it. They're not going to watch. It's that simple. So if they did buy it up, it'd probably end up being a waste of their time if they just took over and didn't cater to their audience. I mean, if you're selling something that nobody's buying, you're going to go out of business pretty quickly. I don't think that ESPN is closing its doors, but I do think that they'd regret their venture. So the point I'm really trying to make is if they did do that, if they did what Bear feared most, I don't see it being sustainable. It's not like they're going to convert their traditional sports fan base to watch esports. So
yeah, exactly. You're not going to get your uncles and your fathers and
grandfathers
to not watch NHL tonight because they're going to watch Dota.
Exactly. So they have to cater to you. If they don't, then they're going to lose money.
Okay.
It's that. So I don't see how I don't see any point in being worried about them coming in and like traditional sportsing it up and everybody like and everybody getting upset and then it just being fine and they're still gonna make like billions of dollars off of it.
There might be formats of the content that they may want to change. I don't like. I'm only playing devil's advocate slightly, even though I'm trying to moderate it. But they might change it a little bit. Might be like, absolutely. Oh, this is how we do it at ESPN. So
yeah.
A bad
very
investment?
quickly, Reddit, you're going to get the Reddit pitchforks. They're going to be like, whoa, what is this? What's going on here? and whoever it is, ESPN or whatever sports company, is either going to have to adapt to the new audience, to what people want, what the people are asking for, what their audience is demanding, or people won't watch. I wouldn't. If I was like, God, this shit sucks. Like, I'm still going to watch it anyway.
Okay, but a bad investment is what I'm worried about because if let's say ESPN drops $10 million, they're gonna pick up whatever some production company. We're gonna run you once a night on ESPN 3, ESPN 4, not good enough for 3, and then it's a flop. We don't watch it because they throw all these ads we don't watch on it. Then I'm worried about the extraneous companies like a Coca-Cola who's like, I don't want to invest anymore. I saw what ESPN did. It was a flop. It's not worth it. I'm worried about it scaring away other companies who might not have a direct interest in the same way ESPN would, but would still interested in putting money into the scene. I mean, if that makes sense.
It does, and it's a legitimate point that's been brought up by numerous people, but I don't think that it's a reason for concern. Because ultimately, even if they do that, it just shows that they screwed up and not that the numbers or the industry doesn't exist. Because even if ESPN comes in and they flop hard, like Cineplex might with World Gaming yet to be determined, like Yahoo might with MLG yet to be determined. If these companies flop hard, it's not gonna mean that other companies with large backing aren't gonna try and enter the scene. It just means that crowd that is there for people to capitalize on, that investment opportunity that Yahoo saw, that Cineplex saw, that all these companies see, it's still there and it's still ready for the taking. It means that nobody's cashed in on it and that nobody's claimed it yet. It doesn't mean that it's not available anymore, that it's not worth it. And in these big companies, you don't get to be, billion-dollar payroll conglomerates without having a fair bit of IQ in your boardroom. And they're gonna know that. We've already seen like multiple failed ventures into esports, and they still keep coming. Like big money it's if anything, it's just increasing. We went from like $40 million investment small time to MTG buying up stuff for 75 billion, and like these crazy numbers that just keep getting bigger.
And that Russian in Virtus Pro into was 100 million
200 into Virtus Pro. Like the numbers just keep getting bigger and bigger, and that's because the market is not yet claimed, it's not yet seized, and that's because nobody's entered and done it right yet, and they know that it's still available for picking. And if somebody's failed, then that just means that the next person is going to try a little bit better, a little bit closer, a little bit smarter. Hopefully they get it right. That's ultimately what it comes down to.
Like I'm on your side here. I want you to be right. I just like I'm tired of seeing the same failures over and over again of people applying these old techniques to new ideas.
Right.
It's a new medium. It's new, and at this point, everyone's just trying to capitalize it on whatever way they can. And I mean, applying these old techniques or trying to, like Drekkonis said, like ESPN had to start off as a nobody at some point, right? Like I don't think we need to abide by them and do what they say. I think we're sustainable on our own, and I think we'd be a much stronger industry if we didn't have to rely on them.
Well,
okay. So setting it on that note, we'll close up that segment and we'll do some quick fire off segments that I wanted to point out. I don't know, Delk, I put some things into the chat. Can you actually put those up? I don't know. Give me blink once for yes and twice for no.
Or type, you can always type to us. Yeah, you can always type to us. That's
okay, so unfortunately, no, that's fine. So I'll read it out. It's fine for the main thing I wanted to post was it just came across my desk now, but I want to read out the requirements for somebody who wants to work for Turner Sports, and it's kind of peels off of the last thing that we just talked about. But this is for the eSports general manager. For Turner Entertainment or Turner Broadcasting. So I want you to think about this. Think about what this means now. This is a little bit of validity because in esports, a lot of ways what we get our jobs is sheer like experience in the industry by like volunteering and crawling the way up and having these qualifications. But here, listen to this one a little bit. The general manager of esports will be responsible for the successful development of the program strategy, digital and linear production, team management and operation to build a monetizable gaming audience. Overall job responsibility, manage the partnerships with WME, sorry, IMG, I was like, whoa!
That veered right off track.
I was like, what? IMG and TBS to ensure all responsibilities are aligned, integrated, and reflect the overall visions of the business. Oversee both digital and linear productions, developing new capabilities of producing a sport that is different from the traditional sports coverage. Partner closely with Turner Studios Atlanta to set the overall vision and become the East Coast reach and best consumer experience. Partner with technology on the development and distribution platforms. And it goes on. But qualifications, 8 to 10 years of gaming business management. I don't know. I guess that could be any kind of business management. It's just gaming. It doesn't say esports. Media, marketing, and production experience. Comprehensive understanding of esports landscape, including relevant game titles, publisher developers, athletes, teams, leagues, and tournament structures. Deep understanding of existing emerging business monetization models within the video game and esports industries. Proven ability to define, develop, deploy, and operationalize repeatable business models, programs, and processes within gaming. Experience building, mentoring, and managing cross-functional teams within gaming industry. Strong business development skills with proven track record, closing long-term strategic and content partnership deals. Creative thinker and proven ability to design, communicate, and bring compelling esports product initiatives to market. Strong program project management skills with the ability to drive planning, schedules, estimates, budgeting, resources, planning, and status reports. Bachelor's degree or equivalent experience in Turner Broadcasting System. What? Is that right? Yep, the bachelor's degree or equivalent experience in Turner Broadcasting System. So I guess there might be a
school for Turner Broadcasting. I don't know why I wouldn't just say
No.
broadcasting.
They're just,
And its
it is.
subsidiaries
Yeah.
are equal opportunity employer minorities. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Equal opportunities minority employees, minorities, female, sexual orientation, gender identity, protected veterans, disabled, and Turner Systems and its subsidiaries. Blah 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 blah. So that's quite the lineup when it comes to what
Whew.
they need. But I wanted to point out this changes a shift in how we're looking at even esports jobs as a whole. Many people that I know who work in industry don't have like half of what I just read, and they've gained the experience simply by obviously getting there with no experience, right? So this is obviously a job that applies to anybody who is upper esports level. Like this is like you're gonna snatch somebody from MLG, snatch somebody from Riot, snatch somebody from I don't know, Valve maybe, but just wanted to point that out. That's
any major publisher. Even if you work for Blizzard, you'd have a lot of that relevant experience. Anyway.
But yeah, this is. I just wanted to point that out. This is. This changes a little bit. How esports jobs are. How we're not gonna have just maybe 14-year-olds running an entire league by themselves, right? And
director of esports. What have you directed before? School play.
I did a couple of Smash brackets.
Yep. I help my grandmother on the weekends.
I babysit the neighbor kids.
Yeah, I've delivered newspapers. Let's see, what else? Yeah.
And it kind of shows that we're moving away from this traditional, or I mean, the current esports young person model, like
the ragtag model.
The ragtag model, where we're now looking for developed esports skills, personalities, and capabilities. So I just wanted to bring that up, and I always find it interesting when there's shifts in esports just even slightly. And this is a very minute shift. Don't get me wrong, but this could send ripples going up in the next few years where you'll see jobs in esports aren't just, must have passion for Blizzard titles.
Enjoy video games.
I've seen though, like the score has them. ESPN even had it. Should enjoy video games. Blizzard to a degree even has it. Like must love Blizzard titles.
That's it. What kind of raid content have you cleared?
So let's wrap it up, bring it to a close. So let's do a last touch on match fixing. Last thoughts, Bear.
Always disappointing to hear. And again, this is going to be a problem. There's solutions to fix this, but this will always and continue to be a problem until the prizes outweigh what you can bet on the game. So either you need to reduce the betting, or so that it's not people aren't incentivized to throw their game, or prize pools need to increase. One or the other needs to happen. So,
last thoughts, Tamir.
Honestly, I'm gonna say I'm not even that salty about it. It doesn't happen as often as people make a stink. It's obviously a big deal when it does happen, but it doesn't. It really, all things considered, doesn't happen that often. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, because people make real money playing Dota, the game you follow most.
There you go. And that just kind of well delivers into Bear's suggested solution. Just don't make it worth it for them. I wholeheartedly agree with the lifetime ban. Just if you have a zero tolerance policy, chances are people aren't going to do it, especially when somebody's been heavily burned by it. And that's I think that's the best case. It's tried and tested in my opinion, as well. It's happened in CS:GO, happened in Dota, happened in other games, and it hasn't happened more than a handful of times because of that zero tolerance policy, in my opinion.
Acquisitions abound. Is esports right for Yahoo? Final thoughts, Tamir.
Is it right for Yahoo? Honestly, it seems like it fits right into Yahoo's portfolio. So I'm going to say yes, because they like to buy stuff and then just let it operate, in which case it's perfect fit for Yahoo. But I hope that we do see more hands-on acquisitions, more involved acquisitions. People
You would
really,
like that. Like, you really would like to see Yahoo touch up MLG just
I
a
just
little
want to
bit.
see them get involved. I just want to see people that don't just like, you know what, here's $200 million and walk away. Like, you know, get involved. Don't buy it if you're not going to do anything with it. If you're not going to get passionate about it, or you're not interested, or, you know, don't buy it just to have it. But I mean, that's business, you know, and not everybody's as involved or as passionate about esports as we are. So that's kind of what it comes down to.
Final thoughts on if Yahoo esports is good for Yahoo, Bear, or vice versa, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good fit both ways. I mean, both parties will benefit. Just from like an audience point of view, I want to see what happens, see what comes of it, and I just want to see like what Tamir said. Like, I want to see how they're gonna touch it up, if like what they're gonna do, what they're gonna change, or if it's just gonna be business as usual. So.
All right, so we won't need to really touch up on our debatable, but let's end it right there. Everyone, what a great show. Tamir, where can they find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at Strygwyr on Twitter. That's STRYGWYRD. I know that's a mouthful, but it's probably in the chat or in the comments or somewhere.
On the thing, yeah.
In the thing, that's right.
Bear, where can they find you?
Best place is at TheSgtBear on Twitter, and yeah, interact with me there.
All right, and you can find me on basically everything that has the internet pulse. So Twitter, Instagram. I'm posting more on Instagram, so please follow me on there. All of it's at Drekkonis, Drekkonis, or on Facebook, which is just Drekkonis. So facebook.com/Drekkonis. Find me there. But you can follow this show and everything else we do on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at ESChamp, ESCHMP. And be sure to... Oh, and SoundCloud and iTunes. Woo! We're there, boys. I know. I felt so good being on iTunes. It felt like validated.
We made it.
That, you know, Apple acknowledges me.
We're a real podcast now.
That's it. You know, I told you. Did I tell you I got so many congratulations? People sending me messages about, like, I heard you're on iTunes. Congrats. I was like, oh, why, thank you.
I didn't know it was congratulatory worthy, but...
Neither did I, but, you know, tons of people were like, they're sending me messages. Yeah, that is like, hey, man, I heard you made it to iTunes. You made it. I was like...
Made it. That validation.
I know. But yeah, you can find our show every time, and we're here every Tuesday, normally at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in before our late comment. But be sure to check us out here. Hopefully next week we'll have a new guest. But be sure you guys let us know on Twitter if there are different topics you want us to cover, or if there's anything special that you want us to have for either a debatable. We're always open to new questions, viewer feedback, anything that you might want. And be sure to always tune in to our show at 6 p.m. Jump in the chat, integrate with us, you know, throw your questions live, and we'll hopefully get it onto the air. In the meantime, we'll catch you on the flip side. Keep searching for the N key.